Hello gamers, this is Girl Gamer Plays, and this here is once again my pile of strategy guides. I put them in different orders. For example, the ones that are pretty much for this gen consoles are in different categories. This one here, right under this yellow envelope, is my fighting games category. These two are the only God of War strategy guides that I own. This one I kind of put in its own area. It's a bit of a loner, so to speak. After all, it's The Last of Us, right? Anyway, I'll explain why I placed that there later. This here, I can get the shine for a sec. Okay, this here. These are what I'm going to call past gen consoles, or perhaps the second gen console games. Guides for those games. And this here is my Call of Duty pile. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up one of these guides and I'm going to talk about why I bought it and whether or not I actually used it. Let's start off with these, since these were past gen. This here is Spartan Total Warrior. This is a great game. It really is. And I really love ancient combat, so it helped. And yeah, Spartans are actually my top favorite of the fighters. I think it used to be the Romans, particularly the Centurions. And when I watched episodes of The Deadliest Warrior, I loved it when I used the ancient warriors, when they were doing things like it was a gladiator versus a Apache Indian. I don't exactly remember what their warrior name was. Who did the Spartan go against? God, I can't remember, but I know it wasn't a Roman. That would have been nice to see. But anyway, this here, I used it, I think, a little bit to mainly just help me through campaign mode. Sorry, my camera graphics aren't really going to show you this too well, but basically I use this just to get through the campaign mode, and that's what I bought a lot of the strategy guides for, mainly, at least the ones that have campaign modes or story modes, was to help me get through those, see if there are any items I might miss when I, run through it, and see how I could defeat certain enemies and all that. So, yeah, this one was pretty cool. And this game was great. And I got it for the Xbox. And, yeah, I loved it. I had my difficult times with it, but I loved it. Especially the survival mode, because I forgot the name of it, but especially that mode. That mode was a lot of fun. And you go from easy to hardest and so on and so forth. Sometimes I could go on forever on the easiest one. But yeah, loads of fun. If you ever do get a chance to pick up any of the old-time games or the second-gen games, Spartan Total Warrior is definitely a good pick. Now this one here is Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. This is a racing game, and I like the whole, big cars, spinning rims, fancy stuff. I had a lot of fun with this. It was just great. And I love the fact that for Xbox, you could choose your own music. So I could play rap music, rock music, and a funny story, even children's music. Just a tad bit off topic, but my brother was actually playing an ATV game, and he said he almost won a race when all of a sudden he heard Doodle Bops music. Now, if you don't know who the Doodle Bops are, there's like this little kids band. So basically, it's like children's music. He was listening to something, I don't know, he's a rock head, so he likes a lot of rock type of music. He's really not into rap, which is kind of sad, but anyway, he likes that. He was listening to that, and all of a sudden the Doodle Bops song came on. He said, "What?" And he crashed his motorcycle. So, yeah, it's great. I wish I was there to catch the reaction. But I put all sorts of stuff on my Xbox in terms of music, and it was great to, play games on the Xbox and listen to the music that I like to listen to. It was games like this and the Tony Hawk series, the ones that allowed you to listen to your own music if you put it on the Xbox. I'm not sure that the PlayStation 2 version would ever have that compatibility. But yeah, I still have it for the Xbox, and it's great. I have yet to utilize the strategy guide though, but I will one of these days, because it had been a long time since I had played it. I actually don't even remember the last time it was. It may have been sometime really early this year or sometime really late last year, but either way, it's a great game. Definitely another one, especially if you're like a racing fan, especially if you're a fan of, you know, fancy vehicles. Now this here is one of, I believe, 3 Mortal Kombat strategy guides I have, unless I literally gave up Armageddon and it's just not around. But this here is Mortal Kombat Deception. Haven't quite taken off this sticker yet. No need to worry about it. I don't think I actually ever utilized the guide, which is kind of funny. And in fact, the reason why I kept this one, and if I have Armageddon, I'll keep it. If not, I'll probably pick it up sometime, as well as the one that's in here. Kind of gives away what it is, but you've already seen what that one was if you watched my first video. The reason why I kept the older versions, as well as that one, but the older versions, is because I was writing, or at least I was inspired to write a fan fiction. And I was actually inspired by a movie, or actually it's a play, really, or musical, I'm sorry, called The West Side Story, and that's like a Romeo-Juliet-based, or themed musical. I was kind of inspired by that, to make a Mortal Kombat version of it. And there's going to be, like, gangs and stuff like that within it. I'm not going to get too detailed into it, because I've been playing more games than I've been writing anything, so yeah. This one, I'm pretty sure it would help. And this is definitely more for the conquest mode. Once again, you know, I buy these mainly to help me through the story modes, or at least guides like this, and some of the other piles that I have, or basically both the piles that I have, in a way. I buy these for story modes, or like conquest modes, or anything that's like a story or a campaign, mainly. And since I don't have online service, well, I mean, I have online service, but not for the Xbox or the PlayStation 2, I wouldn't be playing against people online. But maybe if I was struggling with certain moves in the campaign modes, and actually, I think it's this one, where Shijinko becomes different characters. I could kind of look in the book and see how to do certain moves. Granted, let's see here. Let's actually look at this guy for a second. Cobra. Yeah, granted, every time I look in a strategy guide, the font is tiny. Like, even the thicker strategy guides, you're going to be surprised if you haven't picked one of these up at all. You're going to be surprised how tiny this is. Sometimes, it's literally best to go in with a magnifying glass. By the way, I can't quite find the combo buttons in this. So in a way, this is not the most helpful strategy guide. It's probably one of the least helpful strategy guides for characters. Yeah, because I don't see like their super moves or anything in here. But yeah, again, it was basically for conquest mode to help me out through that. Mortal Kombat series is great. I don't know, I wouldn't say this one was the best, but it was fun to do the conquest mode in it, definitely. Let me just see something right quick. I just feel like, yes, it is conquest. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I kind of forgot what Armageddon was, if there was a campaign mode. I'm sure there was in that. But anyway, here is my God of War pile. I only have 2. I have the first God of War here, and it has a exclusive DVD inside, behind the scenes features, strategy, and more. And let's see here. Where is the disc? Is the disc in the back? Yes, the disc right there, pretty much. Now, this is an RPG, so basically it's a whole storyline, blah, 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 to it. And yeah, I definitely needed help. I mainly relied on YouTube for 1 and 2. I will pick up the guide for 2 eventually, but I mainly relied on YouTube to help me out with God of War. That's a really, like, long and difficult series. It can be difficult on the easiest mode, like I think it's novice. But yeah, especially if you get on those really hard challenging modes, it's gonna be like, you might get past 1, but then it just gets really frustrating. I don't even know if I've ever actually beaten it on the hardest mode yet. I think I'd probably have beaten it on... I know I've beaten the first on easy and regular, but of course I didn't get every single treasure and all that. I know that much. I'm not quite sure if I ever really beaten any of the others on hardest. Possibly Chains of Olympus on the PSP. I possibly did that there, but that would be the only one. So, yeah. And then it has, you know, the gory artwork and stuff. So, yeah. That's the first one. And then the second one that I have is God of War 3. I looked into this one a little bit, but again, sometimes it just helps to be visual with games like these. Because sometimes I'll read something and I'll be like, okay, I guess I'm doing this right. But it really helps if you actually see somebody who knows what they're doing, who knows how to play the game and stuff, to watch what they're doing and basically copy it. Because, you know, that's how you're going to win this game. You watch what they're doing and you do the same thing. And once again, this is just to basically help me get through the whole game and to help me find out where other treasures are and stuff. Sometimes I have the patience for that, and sometimes I don't. All depends. But that's the second the God of War strategy guides that I own. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to this one. I put this in its own pile because I don't even own this game just yet. I actually own God of War Ascension, and it has a demo of this game. I'm going to pick it up eventually. I'm seeing it still for like 40 bucks. The places I go to, like GameStop and Target and all that, I see it for like 40 bucks, and so I'm kind of waiting for that to go down a little bit more. I know for a fact it would definitely be more for story mode than, say, multiplayer, because the multiplayer is like, you do have to have patience with it. If you've ever seen me play Call of Duty, you see sometimes I just don't have patience. I like to run and gun. So, yeah. I've yet to really peek into this to begin with, but I've seen other people play it, and it looks like it's a good game. The story mode looks like it would be... The story is pretty cool. It looks like it would be a great thing to play through. But even then, you know, it has its stealth elements and all that. And so, yeah, I would have to learn patience and read about how best to take care of certain things. And, you know, how to end the game on a, I guess, a high note, so to speak. So that you end the game the right way, so that you complete everything you can and all that. Alright. But I will eventually pick up this game. So now we're going to move to my fighting game pile. And I'm going to explain to you why. The first one here is in a manila envelope. Now, I had purchased this strategy guide, Mortal Kombat 9. I had actually purchased it from a bookstore that has these, like, deals you can get on used books or games and stuff like that, called half-price books. And I actually had purchased it from there, and I found some discrepancies, or really just some really bad editing, or lack thereof, within the strategy guide that I had. I'm assuming most people might buy it for like 1, maybe 2 characters, but I was reading it one day, and I saw something that was in, what's her name, Shiva's, within Shiva's portion of the strategy guide, talking about her stomp move. Let's see, element of P, Q, R, S. Let's go past Reptile, Raiden, Scorpion, Sector, Shang Tsung, Shiva. If I could find it. Let's see, helping is better than most. Darkness, 4-way, watch something. She had some kind of stomp move that they talked about. Or was it? ground pound, I think, or jump stomp. I think it was jump stomp for her. And somehow, some way, and we'll go back to Q, the only Q named character here. Q. Come on, Q. Quan Chi, right? Somehow, some way, they wound up putting one of Shiva's moves into his portion of the book. And then there was something about Liu Kang and another character whose moves were, like, mixed up. And I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. So I sent them a complaint. People at, I believe it's Brady Games, Prima Games, sent them a complaint about it. And I was a little upset about something I won't get into right now. But I was kind of mad, you know, like, why would you do that? Why would you mix these characters up like that? Blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden they said, okay, so we'll make it up to you by sending you a new strategy guide free of charge. And I kind of felt like a jerk face because, you know, I wasn't that angry at them, you know, but I was just like, how did you mix that up, you know? And so they sent me this guide, and they sent me these cards here, these fatality cards that I haven't opened. I don't know if I even am going to open these. I may one day. But these are like the fatality cards and combos. And so, yeah, they gave me that for free charge since I had sent them the complaint. And I'm assuming that if they made any more printed copies of this, that they would fix those. I'm gonna put it in there right fast. But yeah, it was just like I was really upset about something else. So that's why I kind of sent it to them angrily, and I felt like a jerk. But in the end, everything worked out pretty cool. Now here, this is one of the thicker books that I have. This is Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And I actually had the other strategy guide, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Fate of Two Worlds. And I didn't realize at the time that this was actually the newer version. And so I was looking for certain characters that weren't in the other one. Then I realized, oh, okay, so this is the newer version. So I wound up getting rid of that other one eventually. And here we go. I have yet to crack into this one. And to be honest, I may just wind up keeping the Vita version. It all depends. But this would be for the characters that I really like, and then also for the others, just to see if I can get anything better with them. Let me just tell you, though, that game is so fast-paced, it's ridiculous. Like, I've literally only won twice, and only times I did, actually 3 times, technically speaking, but twice I won, and people rage quit on me then, because I was literally down to, like, the last character, and so were they, and then I would wind up winning. But, yeah. I literally had played this one time on the Vita, and I had a 27 loss streak. It was that bad. You know, way back when I used to think, if I got the guides and I actually spent some time playing these games, you know, maybe I could go pro, or if not pro, I could get good enough to beat some people. Forget it. I was like, nope. I just know some of these games, it's just not going to happen. I mean, the whole pro thing, probably not. No pro teams, or you know, going pro and going to pro events kind of thing. Getting better, sure, but nah, otherwise. I do like using, let's see, Zero in this game. I do like using Zero. Chun-Li, I like using. Felicia, she's pretty cool. She's pretty cool. I think they could have done better on some of her costumes, actually all of them, really, because they're all kind of the same general thing, you know, they all have some kind of white, some kind of black, I think, anyway, and there's some color that's like, why would you bother doing that to them? But yeah, that's actually DLC, but yeah, they have 6 total in-game customizations. Yeah, Felicia's alright to use. If you're really, really, really good with her, you can destroy people. I started using this character too, his Cinco. She was alright. But again, in order to get really, really good, you have to really practice a game like this. It's fast-paced. And like I said, the 27 loss streak did not help. So, whenever I get to playing this one again, I will be using it. This is Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Now this one is kind of interesting. I just got into this first using my PlayStation Vita before the thing broke. And I used to have some problems with this one too, because this one was also fast-paced. Not as fast as the Ultimate Marvel series, really, but this one was pretty fast-paced. And the other thing about this fighting game was, I thought that since it was more direct, and just like the Mortal Kombat game, the newer Mortal Kombat game, not the one that's coming out now, but that one when it was newer, I thought it would be easier to play. Because in the other games like Tekken and, say, the other Mortal Kombat, you can circle around people. Sometimes that's how it wins, sometimes not. But I figured, you know, that would make this easier. And turns out I realized that if I actually had the ability to circle around, it would be a lot better for me. You know, because if you've ever seen any of my gameplays, my fighting gameplays, particularly the Tekken ones, yeah, you see that sometimes I circle around, sometimes I don't. And I notice a lot of people will play it kind of like Street Fighter. They want to be direct. They want to, like, only move up and back and maybe shift aside this way, shift aside that way, just a little bit. But for me, I sometimes forget that I'm not playing Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and I will kind of play it that way. But a lot of times I will try to circle around people. But also a lot of times I run into people who know what they're doing, and plus there's lag on my end. That I'll probably explain in another video. I like using 6 characters in this game, and 3 of them are DLC and 3 of them aren't. Ironic. The DLC ones are Sakura, Elisa, and Dudley, who I love to use. I love to use those 3. And then the 3 that aren't are Juri, Cammy, and Ryu. Now, sadly, they don't have the DLC characters in here. I wish they did, and I wish for all series that they would do like a strategy guide, limited editions, where they would put DLC characters or DLC maps or DLC, you know, items within it, so that it would help those who are playing the game and using those DLC characters, playing on those maps or using the DLC items. But yeah, my main 2 people that I played with in this game were Ryu and Dudley. And I remember one day I was gonna, you know, write down all the things, all the information within this book. Not everything for everyone, but just for the ones that I use. And as you can see-ish, you just see how tiny this is. It's kind of ironic that the book is big, but it's so tiny. Everything in it. You know, I'm sure people would buy a strategy guide that was about that thick if they could read what was in it without having to use a magnifying glass. You know. But yeah, I liked using those 6 characters that I mentioned. And the main team on the Vita, as I said before, was Ryu and Dudley. And then my main team on the PS3 was Juri and Cammy for a little while. And then I kind of switched up. Sometimes Dudley Sakura, sometimes Sakura Ryu, sometimes Cammy Sakura. It's a great game. Definitely a great game. But if you're more used to circling around and stuff like that, you may prefer a game like Tekken. Alright, I've only got a few more minutes left. I'll try and get through these as fast as I can. But this is Tekken 6 here. I actually enjoyed the Tekken series, and in fact, I was, as the, comments say within this series, there's, when it says I was raised on Street Fighter or I was raised on Tekken, well, I was definitely raised on Tekken. And so, I fell in love with this game. I think it was Tekken 3 on the Nintendo 64. But also in the arcades, I loved it. I love this game. And I still do. Love this game. I don't play it as often as I do my Call of Duties, but hey, you have it. Tekken 6, certain, I like to use certain characters. Well, really, the main character I like to use in Tekken in general is Law. Although, I think I started with Law, but then I started liking Roger Jr., or Roger Jr.'s mother. Gonna get, like, literal here. The baby does nothing. They didn't even make a special move for the baby. It's literally the mother doing all the work. But, yeah, I really enjoyed playing this game. And if you saw my Reckless ranked matches, yeah, you can see how bad I really was at it. And lag didn't help a lot. But at the same time, I still enjoy it. I used to have a problem, though, when I was playing ranked matches. And it wasn't only this one, but it was also this one as well as some of the other ones. That I would literally rage quit after a while because people were just so good at it, and I didn't know what I was doing wrong and what they were doing right. And in some cases, the lag was just so terrible that I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to sit through this. It's whatever. But yeah, my main characters within this are basically Martial Law and Roger Jr. I had practiced a tad bit with Elisa, just a little bit. I don't think I actually took her out into a ranked match, though, or a player match or anything. Hadn't played this in a while, and it's kind of interesting. You know, like, I guess some people move on, and some people don't play this, or don't play this at certain times, and I'll try to get an online match, and it's like no one there to play with, or the person I try to play with is, like, lags out all the time for some reason. And I choose World because, you know, sometimes people in America just don't want to play, I guess, or people in a certain country don't want to play. For example, actually, about this one, they have a couple of places you can choose. You can choose the United States, you can choose Europe, I think Germany is one, and Africa, ironically. And I say ironically, but Africa is one of the places you could choose. I tried Africa. It seems like nobody's playing it. I don't quite understand why that is, but, you know, hey, around the world. Oh, Japan, obviously. Japan is one of them. Sometimes I get people from Japan, but mostly I just chose World for it. Make it a lot faster, easier to find people. This is Super Street Fighter 4, and I got the arcade edition of it for the extra characters and stuff, so obviously they don't have the arcade edition characters within this, well, the extra characters within this one. My main characters from this particular game are Juri and Sakura. Ryu was actually really hard to use, and Dudley was a little complex for me within this particular game. And this is also when I found out, you know, I'm a lot better at the ones where I could circle around people and stuff. And what drove me nuts was people who would use the Hadouken. The Hadouken, like a friend of mine who was always using the Hadouken over and over and over. He kept spamming that over and over. It was a little hard for me to beat him. And he got mad at me calling him a spammer, but it was the truth. That's what he was doing. And then they spammed the Showoken. Like, this one guy kept doing that Dragon Punch move with Ken when I was trying to beat him with, I think, Sakura at the time. It was like, got so frustrated. Sometimes I would send little messages like, why you keep spamming that move, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, you know, it takes practice. I can get easily frustrated and all, but it does take practice in these games. All these games, really. But, oh, Makoto was another one. That one I wanted to get good with was Makoto, but again, she seemed to be kind of complex. Another thing about this, I can get the mini super moves to work on for some of the characters. When it comes to those super moves, I can't do it. I could not do it at all. Still to this day, I haven't figured out how to do ones for Juri or Sakura or anyone, really. So, yeah, it kind of sucks, but that is what that is. So again, it's just to try to get good with the characters I'm using. I hadn't utilized it too much. When I get back into gaming more, I definitely will. I'm almost out of time, so I'm going to stop after Injustice, and I'm going to have to do my Call of Duties in another video. But this one here is Injustice Gods Among Us. Now, I played the story mode on easy. It did take me a while to beat a couple of the, harder characters toward the end. The Insurgent Superman in particular was kind of rough. Especially since the one I wanted to get good with was the Joker and Harley Quinn. She's not on the cover, but the Joker and Harley Quinn I wanted to get really good with. But yeah, turns out that game played way differently. It kind of like Mortal Kombat. Oh, well, a lot like Mortal Kombat, but a little differently still. And then that whole thing where you had the, 2 bars of health and stuff. Yeah, I found myself getting beaten this so much that it was so easy to rage quit. And I remember playing one person, I can't remember his name. We were online friends for a little bit. But he was playing with, God, I think Harley Quinn or someone else. And I was using Harley Quinn for sure, and I think the Joker. At one point in time, we were doing a mirror match, and I finally beat him, just mashing buttons. Just so tired of losing it. and so, yeah, that was great. I hadn't actually used this for the story mode. In fact, I think I purchased this after I purchased the game, and I probably hadn't even opened this before I had finished the story mode. But yeah, I really wanted to get good with Joker and Harley Quinn in it. Maybe Batman. Batman seemed kind of interesting with all the gadgets and stuff. I do have the PS Vita version of this, but it's kind of funny. I tried to go online, nobody was playing it. Kind of sad, but you know, it is what it is. Excuse me. And what else? There's this other version that's out. I think it's the limited edition or ultimate edition. I think it's got other characters in it. They may or may not have a strategy guide out for that. We'll see. If they do, I'll probably pick it up, and I may wind up getting rid of this one. By getting rid of, I mean giving it up to half price books for the little bit of money I would get, because they really don't. You really have to have really good books or really valuable books in order to get anything from them, really. Let's just face it. And it has to be of the time, so to speak. Sometimes, well, anyway, let me not get off into that, but I had started writing down Harley Quinn's moves and stuff like that, and I practiced it for a little bit, but to be honest, I wouldn't spend enough time practicing to get really, really good with her yet. So maybe when a time comes, when I have a lot more time to do things, I'll definitely practice with her more often, and with the Joker more often. She was, actually it was the Joker at first who I really wanted to get good with. And then I thought, you know, Harley Quinn would actually be kind of fun, because she looks like a little punk rock star, so to speak, but she also kind of looks really fragile. She basically looks like a little girl. She's a lot older than that, of course, or maybe a little older than that. She's probably in her 20s, at least within this guide and game, and probably within the series, or at least she's probably in her 20s, probably mid to late even. But she looks like a little girl. She behaves a lot like a little girl, so I just thought it would be kind of fun to beat people with a little girly character. Or to, like, mess around with people with the Joker, definitely, because, you know, he can be really irritating to get beat by, or when you use him, you know, when you beat people, you can probably irritate the hell out of them. So, yeah, this would probably be for the story mode when it gets a little harder. I can figure out ways to beat the harder characters. But yeah, that's my pile so far that I've gone through. Injustice, Gods Among Us, Super Street Fighter 4, Tekken 6, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, The Last of Us, God of War 3, God of War 1, Mortal Kombat Deception, Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition, and Spartan Total Warrior. I'm running out of time. Well, this is Girl Gamer Plays. Thank you for watching, and I'll bring you a video of my Call of Duty pile of strategy guides soon.